Hello, this is Dr. Mia Lueth. It is October 27th, 2025, 9:01 a.m. Eastern Time, New York, USA. I'm going to try a different lighting scheme today. Um, I'm using more natural light because it is fall and moving closer to winter, so I can have my blinds open. In the summertime, this room gets too hot. Yeah, I explain these things because these are things that people need to just think about. There are a lot of people who don't, and it's kind of weird. Anyway, uh, so I'm doing my solid best to kind of make sure I'm keeping up with NHL news, National Hockey League news. I can't watch the games on TV right now. Uh, it's kind of difficult for me. Okay, it's like very hard on me that I can't. But I do have the NHL, the websites. I have the websites, and then of course there's podcasts and all kinds of, and some are more general podcasts for the whole league, but some are podcasts that talk about just a certain team. So I've been really kind of diving into right all things Jets when it comes to podcasts and other things like Winnipeg Sports Talk and Jets at Noon, and there's a bunch more. Um, I became familiar with Check In, and I do my best on game days to, at the very least, um, be on the Check In with Sarah and Jamie to kind of get to know some of the posters, and also you get like a brief overview of kind of what to expect game day. Uh, and there's interviews. So, that's just something I'm trying to do. Again, I need to say this. I have some serious health conditions, and I've been dealing with managing these for quite a while. And in the United States, even if you have insurance, I mean, I worked full time sick. Like I was seriously ill and still went to work sick. And but it got to the point where my family passed away, and I wasn't. I spent my emergency money on healthcare, and so it can make you poor in the United States. It can probably happen in other countries. Kind of like giving a realistic perspective, just in the United States, this is what can happen. You get sick, you have a terrible illness, you need all this stuff, you need medication, and you go broke, which adds more stress, which my country needs to freaking work on right the hell now. All right, but anyway, so I'm a Jets fan. Again, I really never thought that I would ever not be a DC. Okay, there's some stuff I found out. It's just unacceptable. I don't want to support it. And, there's a few thousand of them I'm happy for, but the rest, and it got to the point where after years of being a fan, I'm listening to some coaches, and I'm listening to the majority owner, and I'm listening to former GM, and it's just like, what the flock in hell? That's not hockey smart. Like, yeah, I mean, it's just like you're just gonna keep repeating. Like, excuse me, consider the rest of the National Hockey League, man. You got no respect for other teams. Do you think they're stupid? I just couldn't anymore, and I would get shit. Like, I took shit from Caps fans. Yeah, exactly, because a lot of them they didn't want to stick through it. I don't know how many times I had people, former Caps fans, giving me shit because I stayed a Caps fan. Like, just okay, rock and roll. Hello, goodbye. Stay the flock away from it. which is sad because there's a blogger group I like. There's some fans that I've never really had issue with, but and unfortunately, I did have some inside information, and I couldn't really believe that any hockey team, any players would even agree to do that. But I'll put it to you this way: it's not for me to say because it's being handled a certain way, and that needs to come out through someone else. But that's one team I refuse. I refuse to. I will root for any team that plays against them. And as far as I'm concerned, they're fucking lucky they got a freaking cup in the first place. And the only reason I was really happy is because, Coles had really got robbed of his one and only chance while he was a goalie to try to make the playoffs. So at least he's got his name on the cup. But even that, I'm like, yep, I'm against you guys forever until either I die or the franchise dies. But yeah, I'm a Jets fan, so I do have the consideration. I'm in Maryland. I'm in Eastern time, and they're in Central. And so when it gets a little like I have to get that all straightened out because some of the times that are listed on some of the sites that have to do with the Jets are actually listed Eastern time, but some of them are listed Central time. So when people in Winnipeg say our time, I have to consider the fact that our time means an hour difference for me. So I'm still getting a little confused. Like when, so I just say I'm getting in the rhythm of that, and I know now, which is Eastern time and what our time means. So our time, Jets thinking is Central time, which means there's an hour difference for me. So I have to, make sure I do that. Uh, and I'm getting used to that, and I'm getting used to, more and more of the sports talk and so on and so forth. So, uh, I unfortunately am now having some serious issues with being able to walk properly. Unfortunately, um, so and I got to be honest, is that people sometimes you do need to just stop for a hot second, okay, and just remember the people who have serious illnesses, the things that you guys take for granted. Maybe you do need to stop for a hot sec and be a little grateful and look at the things that are really you're blessed with. Like if you don't have to, you know, like it takes me a full hour to, hear the alarm, get myself together, maneuver my 2 feet on the ground. It can take sometimes a little while for me to be able to like stand up and start walking. And I have to, add that hour to my day. I can't just get up and attack the day. It doesn't happen. Uh, so, also, I'm 53 and my entire family's deceased. So, sometimes it is hard for me. I'm going to admit I stop talking to people and I stop listening sometimes because it's hard as hell and it's insensitive and shitty when I'm around people complaining about their fucking family all the time. And I'm like, well, you're lucky you got one to complain about. I would rather have a family to complain about. Right. Last member of my family died in 2013. And I'm only 53 years old. I met somebody online who's only 28. I'm like, dude, we should be friends. I want to be friends with people who are like that. I mean, 28, that's terrible. I'm like, geez, man, I was 40, but at 28, like, we need to exchange information. But, you know, and I say this, and I'm aiming at a hockey audience, okay? But I do realize that some people are newer to learning the game and stuff like that. So, I try and stick to basics, but sometimes it's like yeah, if you're looking at basics, it's like this. But over years, you start to understand the game better. You start to understand what the coaches and the players are saying. And I spend a lot of time just listening to coaches, general managers, players, and the press that's associated and affiliated with the team. So, right, uh, official press. So, which is now on iHeartRadio. That actually helps me a little bit. Not that I, because radio on Google Go data. So yeah, I got all these considerations, but I do my best now. I'm doing. Oh, my connection is unstable. I'm like, I refuse to get frustrated these days. I just anyway. So I was looking around, and there are a few things that I just kind of want to say. Um, Jets at noon. Okay, uh, they talk. Obviously they talk about the Winnipeg Jets, and written it in some blogs and articles that I've written, and I've said it, and I still agree with it. For instance, if I worked for an NHL franchise and I got to see the game, okay, myself, uh, I would never need a coursing number. I mean, that would just be like, just skip the effing course. I don't need that. Okay, some of us just, we know how to read the game now. We know how to read what's going on. And, the more you listen to both sides of the press, the more you start to understand, and you're able to read, and you understand the intangibles, and you understand that you may not understand as a hockey spectator exactly what's going out, what's happening on ice. We can speculate all we want, and I will sometimes. But, my main way to look at it is just, well, they know what they're doing, and if they don't, there are people who do, and you know, like I said, you do have to kind of trust your franchise. Now, I trusted the Washington, that team, for like 30 some years. So the Jets should just know, right? I'm gonna go till I great, and yeah, I'm alive, and so I'm hoping that the Jets can keep the franchise and that they don't lose it again. I mean, I'm not going to say that out loud too much, but right. I mean, I was happy for Winnipeg because they got their hockey back. I really was. I mean, I get that. So, and I come from a place where the closest hockey to me at the time was Baltimore and AHL, and then that went away. So, but I started paying attention to the NHL when I was really young. But one of the things that I will say is I was just recently listening to what's it called? Slangin The Bizkit podcast with some dudes. And I left a couple comments, and I'm just like, dudes, I'm not, like, you can't say all women. Like, you gotta stop doing that. Okay, and females too. Just like, people are like, all men are like, and I'm just like, shut up. You're wrong. Okay, admit that you're wrong. Okay, we're not all the same. Like, all women don't do the same things. All women don't think the same things. Like, what the fucking hell? Look, I mean, I did date a player, and he was in the AHL, but it did, you know, get, well, he got traded, and then he had to play across the country. It was a long thing. So we had to let each other go, which was very difficult because I had to stay in the East Coast and look after my family, and he's trying to get into the NHL and stay in it. And so for his career, I didn't want him having to worry. It added extra stress to both of us, so we just kind of mutually let each other go. But I didn't. I it had nothing to do with the fact that he was making good money at all. I don't know what you guys have heard, but dudes in the AHL don't really make that much money, and in the East AHL, it's even less. I mean, I'm sure they got like 6 roommates and like right and they, yeah, they're like they have to have a job, uh like a secondary job. Sometimes it gets a little silly with all the money talk. But I can say I did date a musician for a little while, and he was a multimillionaire. And I know why people run away from him screaming. I know why it's hard for people. Yeah, it's like there's just sometimes for some of us, there's no amount of money that's gonna make it okay. You know what I'm saying? So there's some females who don't just look at the dollar signs. Okay, all right. So fellas, you just kind of drill that into your heads. Okay, some females. No, and I'm not. I've been around dudes. I've listened to dudes, and I understand some of the things you guys talk about. Like women expect us to read their minds. It's just well, no. In some cases, you're just supposed to pay attention when her birthday is. I mean, if you really cared, you would notice the things she likes at the very least. You know what I'm trying to say? And it depends on the depth of your relationship. And some people want to keep it shallow, but some people don't. But I understand that, so I say stuff out loud, right? A lot to males, so that it's just like, I'm telling you, I love ice hockey. Easy. I'm telling you, I'm a Jets fan. No, not football. Right. Ice hockey. I'm telling you. Okay. And I'm telling some of the fellas out there, point blank, it's not entirely the whole reason that any female, and I gotta be honest with you, I probably would not ever be a pug bunny. I don't think I've ever, not like that. I mean, if I were younger and I had to put like that label on it, I'd probably be more like a coach bunny than anything. But I'm 53. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, there's just some shit I just don't give a flying fuck about. Okay, but I give a shit about player safety. I give a shit about the fact that these dudes are all human beings. I know that there's problems and issues that we don't know about as spectators, and a lot of them don't get talked about until much later, maybe after they retire, maybe never. Right? I give a shit about the fact that those are all human beings out there. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I gotta go. Yeah, sure.